In the last video, we drew our red cardinal and then we painted it with just a plain black paint on top for our first layer. The reason we do that is because cardinals have the black part around here and also on their eyes, so it's a lot easier just to have the whole thing black and then put the red on top. For our second layer, we're going to be using red, and you'll notice I have the primary colors listed here. Reason for that, I'm going to show you guys how to make brown for the branch right here later on. So first up, we're going to just get regular red. Notice how I didn't wet my brush. I don't want to be wet right now. And I'm going to be, there you go. So my eye's going to be around here. So I'm going to start there and do little fellers all throughout. Short brush strokes, just like that. Over and over. If you think it's a little bit too dark, you can add some white to make it a little bit whiter. The reason you're doing this, white is opaque. So usually when you add white to a color, it doesn't see through. You can see how you see the black there, the red, there's red there, but you can still see the black. If I added white to it, it's not as see-through. When I add white to a color, that is also called a tint. When I add black to a color, that is called a shade. I'm going to follow shape. Notice how I'm not doing this. I'm not painting like that. You're doing small brush strokes and make sure you follow the shape of the face. So I'm not liking how it's so pink, so I'm going to go in with just plain red and do it on top of the pink to make it more red. The key is to get those small brush strokes so it looks like the feathers. This is a second layer. In the art world, layers are kind of like sandwiches. You have the top layer, which is sandwich. In the middle, we have cheese, tomato, so on. Our first layer was blue and black. Now our second layer is going to be this red right here. When you're working with acrylic paint, or any paint really, even watercolor, the key is to work with layers, especially with watercolor. The more layers you add, the more interesting it's going to be for the final project. Remember, short brush strokes, so you get that texture of the feather. Texture is one of the elements of art. It's how something feels. What I'm doing right now is called implied texture. Implied texture is the suggestion of how something might feel, but I can't actually see it. However, I can actually touch and feel this sponge. If I drew a picture of this sponge using shadow and highlights and color, and I suggest how the sponge might feel in the picture, that's an example of implied texture versus real texture. Alright, we're going to skip over, I'm going to finish that later, and we're going to mix brown. When you're making brown, the best way I found to make brown is to use your complementary colors. Complementary colors are opposites on the color, so I can do red and green, yellow and blue, and I can also do, yellow and purple, and then blue and orange. So let's start with the orange. My favorite one to do is the orange. We're going to get some yellow right here. Wipe it down. Make some orange. It's a little bit way too yellow. I need to be a little more darker. Okay. get some blue. And you got yourself a nice brown. This is like a chestnut brown. Alright, so that's one example of brown. Yep, that's pretty brown. I can add some more orange if I want to, but I kind of like that color. Okay, we'll make a different brown now. We're going to do red and green. The way you make green is yellow and blue. So I'm going to get some yellow, some blue, make the basic green, wash my brush, get quite a bit of red, mix it in here. You'll see it's like a darker mahogany brown. I don't like that. I'm going to add some more yellow. There, it's a better color now. It's got two examples of brown. Next we can do yellow. Sorry, we already did yellow and purple. So let's make purple first. And we get some red. Mix it with blue. Make a nice purple. And then I'm going to get quite a bit of yellow and mix it in here to make brown. Needs a little bit more yellow. Alright, so then I kind of like that one the best. So I'm going to go in now and add texture to my branch using just lines. The next step, I'm going to be making green to make the leaves on the tree, kind of like a pine tree. I'm going to have some of the yellow, blue, and make that kind of dark green. More blue, I want to be darker. Okay, and over here, I'm going to be doing V's over and over to make the texture of the Christmas tree. You can even do it on top of here. V's over and over. Okay, I'm going to do one more layer of red on the Cardinal. And then I'm going to let it dry. And we're going to do dry brush technique in the next video using snow. White and snow. That looks nice. While it's still wet, I'm going to get some purple, but I don't need to mix it because I have red already there. I'm going to add a shadow where the wing goes. And over here, his chest is usually black. So I'm going to be putting some blue right there to let me know next time I need to paint that black. Technically, the bird's beak are also red, but we're going to do that later. Anywhere you think there will be shadow, you're going to be adding some blue. So right here, I'm going to put some shadow. Make it purple. Alright, in the next video, let's see, actually that's pretty dry already, we can go ahead and do it. You're going to need 2 brushes for this step. Actually, let's just save it for next time. I don't want to make it brown. So, to recap, in the last video we did 1 layer of black and blue in the background. Today we mixed brown to make our branches, and then you painted the cardinal red. That will be your second layer. Next time I see you, I'm going to be showing you how to do the dry brush technique using white.